What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Friday, August 23rd. Thursday was a little bit shorter of a slate, guys. We had the Yankees -1.5. That was a very solid win there. We had them at +125 at -1.5, and they got a 6-0 shutout thanks to a dominant start from Cole over his 6 innings. So very, very good stuff from the Yankees there to get the day off to a great start. We got let down by the Brewers again, guys. We had them at -118, a 3-0 loss there from Milwaukee. Their bullpen sucked, and Michael has had one of his best starts of the season there for the Cardinals. So pretty annoying stuff from Milwaukee once again. We had the under in that Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game. It was a dominant game from the Pirates, who ended up winning 7-0. Thanks for a great start there from Skeens. We end up cashing that underplay as well. We still have the Mets-San Diego over 7 game. That's still drawing alive technically, but it's not feeling that great, guys. It feels like it's going to be kind of a bad beat. We've seen 14 total hits in that game and only 4 runs scored here heading into the bottom of the 7th inning. So wanted to get after it and get this video out to you guys as soon as possible. Not waiting for that game to completely finish, but yeah, let's get back after it and find some value here on this full Friday slate. Take a second to hit that like button, guys. It is a big thank you to me for all the content, and it only takes 1 second for you to hit that like button. So if you like these videos, go ahead and hit that button, and also consider subscribing to the channel. Join the community here with us so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And yeah, guys, our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and join our free email list and check out our top confidence plays on all the major sports. We got NFL coming up very, very soon, guys. You don't want to miss out on that. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the Cincinnati Reds going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Reds come into this game fresh off of a 7-0 shutout loss there at Pittsburgh in game 1 of this series. They couldn't get anything going out there against Skeens. They're 62-66 on the year. They're going to be handing the ball in this one to Andrew Abbott, who's 10-10 on the season with a 3.72 ERA. He's coming off a mediocre start against the Royals, guys. 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs allowed. He struck out 4 and walked 1 and gave up a home run in that game, so not his best stuff. He's kind of been alternating decent starts and bad starts recently, but just over his last 5 outings, guys, not really showing his best stuff out there. So we've got some pretty big concerns about Andrew Abbott out there on the mound in this game. Definitely a turnaround from, earlier this season where he was looking very, very good. In terms of their bullpen, though, guys, the Reds continue to be excellent. A 3.56 bullpen ERA. Nothing to turn your nose up at. This has been one of the better bullpens in Major League Baseball for quite some time now. So, yeah, if Abbott can turn in a solid outing and hand off a lead to that bullpen, you can expect them to usually get the job done here. The question for this team, generally speaking, is their offense, guys. Obviously, they got shut out yesterday. Do we see that happening 2 games in a row? Not necessarily, but hey, crazier things have happened, guys. They've scored 0, 11, 3, 6, 1, 1, and 1 run respectively over their last few games. Ellie De La Cruz has been hitting the ball a bit better recently. The dude's a monster. What can I say? But other than him, not a lot of guys in this lineup that scare me a lot at the plate. And without an offense that's going to be a little bit better than 27th in the majors in batting average, which is where they're sitting right now, I do think the Reds are going to have a hard time here in the back half of the season. So we'll see what they can get going here against the Pirates, who come into this game obviously fresh off of that fantastic 7-0 shutout performance. They're 60-67 on the year, though, so still an awful lot of work to do. They're going to be handing the ball in this one to Bailey Falter, who's 6-7 on the year with a 4.02 ERA. His last start was against the Seattle Mariners. He was kind of good, but had to pitch out of a lot of trouble, guys. 5 2/3 innings, 8 hits allowed. He only gave up 2 earned runs and had 8 strikeouts, but that is a big, big strikeout performance for him. That is not normally what you expect to get. And while he is going against another team that's, not a great hitting team, I do think he could have a little bit of trouble. But over his last 5 starts, the guy's been pretty solid with only, one really mediocre start in there against the Dodgers. And I mean, lots and lots of guys are going to have bad starts against the Dodgers. Back in June, he had back-to-back starts against the Reds. He didn't have a very good time in those, giving up 7 and 5 hits respectively. He did only give up 2 earned runs in one of those games, but he gave up 5 runs. 4 of them were earned in the second one, and we saw the Pirates lose both of those games. So definitely some concerns there for Falter. Obviously, very big concerns for that Pirates bullpen. Obviously, they're coming off of a good game, but a 4.24 bullpen ERA has them, bottom 7 in the majors? Like, that's not, generally speaking, going to get a job done for a team that's not that great at the plate, guys. And in the Pirates, they did score 7 runs in game 1 of this series. Congratulations on that, but they've scored 7, 0, 4, 3, and 3 runs respectively over their last few. Brian Reynolds is doing what he can out there, but yeah, this team's 24th in the majors in runs scored, 23rd in the majors in team batting average, batting 234 as a squad. That's not really going to get the job done. They're also bottom 3 in on-base percentage and bottom 4 in slugging percentage. So just not an offense that I'm very excited about. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we've got the Reds at plus 100, the Pirates at minus 108. We've got an over-under of 8.5 out there. The Reds are a 500 team on the road. The Pirates are actually slightly below 500 at home. In terms of the side in this game, guys, I am leaning a bit towards the Reds at plus 100. I think we'll see a little bit of a bounce back from them. I think we'll see a little bit of a bounce back from Andrew Abbott. Falter not having very good numbers against the Reds this season makes me a little bit worried, and it's not like he's throwing the ball great coming into this game either. So go ahead and give me the Reds at plus 100 in terms of the side. In terms of the over-under, we've got mixed trends here and not very significant trends. I do lean slightly towards that under 8.5, but yeah, I'm more interested in the side in this one than the over-under. Next up, guys, you're looking at the Colorado Rockies going on the road to take on the New York Yankees. The Rockies come into this game fresh off of losing 2 out of 3 there at Washington, and now they get to go to Yankee Stadium. That does not sound like a super great time to me. The Colorado is only 47 and 81 on the year. They're hitting the ball in this game to Kyle Freeland, who's 3-5 this season with a 5.97 ERA. His last start was not a great one against the Padres, guys. 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs allowed. Yeah, just not somebody that I'm super high on right now. He has had some good starts this season, don't get me wrong, but not somebody I think is really ready to go up against a team like the Yankees. Obviously, in terms of their bullpen, guys, the Rockies have been the worst bullpen in Major League Baseball all season long, so not expecting that bullpen to have a very good time going up against one of the best offenses in baseball. And speaking of offense, guys, what do we expect to see out of Colorado? Well, they've scored 3, 1, 3, 3, and 3 runs respectively over their last several games. Not really feeling like that's going to be enough against a team like the Yankees. The Rockies are, MLB average in terms of batting average, batting 244 as a team, but they're 23rd in the majors in on-base percentage, 17th in runs scored, and those are numbers that are boosted by the fact they get to play at Coors Field in half of their games, so not really an offense that I'm super excited about, and they're going up against the Yankees in this one, who just won 2 out of 3 against the Cleveland Guardians, and they got us a nice little 6-0 shutout yesterday. Cash that one, put that on the board. The Yankees are 75 and 53 on the year. They're a game and a half up on Baltimore there in the AL East. They're hitting the ball to Carlos Rodon in this game, who's 13 and 8 on the season with a 4.34 ERA. His last time out, though, guys, not his best stuff. At Detroit, 3 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs allowed. And again, we saw the Yankees eventually lose 4-0. He had been looking a bit better heading into that game. Maybe not going super deep into games, but yeah, generally speaking, hasn't been having the greatest time. And he's somebody we're a little bit worried about right now for the Yankees. I mean, is this somebody you're going to be stoked to hand the ball to in a game 2 or 3 of playoff series? That seems like a little bit rough. So we'll see what we get from Rodon in this one. We'll all see what we get from that Yankees bullpen. They've been pretty solid this season, but they've had a downturn recently. They're just barely hanging on to being a top 10 bullpen with a 3.71 bullpen ERA at the moment. So we'll see if they can hold on to that, see if they can, improve those numbers a little bit going up against a team like the Colorado Rockies, which definitely seems possible, but really, guys, the major strength of this Yankees team is that offense. We see Judge just absolutely killing it. 48 home runs, batting 334 on the year. The Yankees have scored 6, 8, 5, 2, 0, and 3 runs respectively over their last few. So seems like they are, getting back on track here, scoring a combined 14 runs over their last 2 games. They're second in the majors in runs scored, 11th in the majors in batting average, batting over 250. They're the top on base percentage in the major leagues, and they're the 3rd best slugging percentage team in Major League Baseball. So expecting very, very good stuff from them in this series, generally speaking. Look at the numbers for this game. We've got the Rockies at plus 245, the Yankees at minus 275. We've got over-unders of 8.5. An over-under of 8.5 showing out there. The Rockies are 18 and 48 on the road. Yankees are 34 and 28 at home. So in terms of the side in this game, guys, I'm definitely leaning towards the Yankees. I'm not sure if this is really, a value spot here. Obviously, minus 275, pretty freaking steep. If you want to take the Yankees minus 1.5, you can get them around a minus 125. That seems much more playable to me. I don't really know that I trust Rodon enough for that. But guys, looking at the over-under for this one, sitting at 8.5, we see Colorado is 35, 28, and 3 to the over on the road, and the Yankees are 35, 26, and 1 to the over at home. I like over 8.5 a very good amount in this spot. It's actually got a decent chance to end up in the pinned comment. I think we're going to see offense from both teams here. There's also always that chance the Yankees could put up 9 or 10 runs all on their own and get us over that number, but I do expect some scoring from the Rockies. I don't think we're going to see Rodon have an amazing outing, and I'm always going to expect the Yankees to put up some runs. So give me the over in this one. Definitely a good spot. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Houston Astros going on the road to take on the Baltimore Orioles. The Astros come into this game fresh off of a 6-0 win in Game 1 of this series. They are 69-58 on the year, 5.5 games up on Seattle there in the AL West. The Astros are going to be handing the ball to Hunter Brown in this game. He's 11-7 on the year with a 3.82 ERA. He's coming off another excellent start, albeit against the Chicago White Sox, but still, his last 3 starts have all been very good. A great start against the White Sox, a good one at Boston, and a good one at the Texas Rangers. So definitely give this young guy some credit. He is throwing the ball really, really well right now. Obviously, he's going up against a tough opponent in this one, so we'll see how he can do against Baltimore, but right now, we are feeling very good about Hunter Brown. We're also feeling pretty solid about that Houston Astros bullpen, guys. They are currently 6th in the majors with a 3.56 ERA coming out of the pen. That is an amazing improvement for a team that was terrible in the bullpen early in the season, and they were kind of terrible at everything early in the season, to be honest, but the bats have also come alive, guys. They've scored 6, 1, 5, 5, 2, and 6 runs, respectively, over their last few. They're 12th in the majors in runs scored, despite being 3rd in batting average and top 10 in both on-base percentage and slugging percentage. So this is a team that I think should be poised to score some more runs here down the stretch, but I've been saying that pretty much all season long, guys. Maybe this offense, it just is what it is. They're not going to score a crazy amount of runs, but right now things are looking okay for them at the plate. So we'll see what they can do here against the Orioles, who come into this game losers of 3 out of their last 4. They are 74-55 on the season, handing the ball in this one to young Cade Povich, who is 1-6 this year with a 5.77 ERA. His last start was a good one against Boston back on the 17th, guys. 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs allowed. Unfortunately for him, that was a game we saw the Orioles lose 5-1. Baltimore has actually lost each of his last 4 starts, so that's got to be a little bit depressing. Just not somebody we're super high on right now. This young guy, he's had some moments, but is he really going to have a great time against the Houston Astros in this spot? It seems like a bit of a big ask to me. Not somebody that I'm super high on, and if he can't make an extended start here, guys, that means you're seeing a big dose of that Baltimore Orioles bullpen that is currently bottom 9, I think, 21st in the majors with a 4.18 bullpen ERA. Not a good bullpen at all. So big concerns there. They're going to have to lean heavily on the offense that just got shut out in Game 1. They've scored 0, 4, 9, 3, 4, and 1 runs, respectively, over their last several games. We've kind of seen this offense in something of a free fall since around the All-Star break. I mean, they're down to 3rd in the majors in runs scored. They're still the top slugging percentage team in the majors, but they're just not hitting the ball like they were early in the season. I mean, this was looking like an absolute offensive juggernaut, and that's just not what they look like right now. So I'm not too shocked to see the Astros as favorites on the road in this game. We've got Houston at -116. The Orioles at +100. We got an over-under of 9 in this game. Houston 31-29 on the road. Baltimore 37-28 at home. Guys, in terms of the side, I like Houston. I'm not gonna lie. It seems a bit tough, but I like the Astros -116. Not a terrible price. They've definitely got the starter advantage in this one, and yeah, I don't necessarily love Houston on the road, but I think I like them on the road in this spot. In terms of the over-under of 9, we got some mixed trends here, with Baltimore being a pretty big over team at home and Houston being a pretty big under team on the road. Given the starters that we have out there, I guess over 9 could be a decent play, but I think the Astros -116 is some pretty decent value. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Arizona Diamondbacks going on the road to take on the Boston Red Sox. The Diamondbacks come into this game 72-56 on the year, thanks in at least some part to a 3-game sweep there of the Miami Marlins. They're handing the ball in this one to Ryan Nelson, who's 8-6 on the season with a 4.35 ERA. His last start was a very good one at the light-hitting Tampa Bay Rays. He went 6 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, only a single earned run. No fault of his that eventually we did see the Diamondbacks lose that game 5-4, but he's been looking very good out there recently. We see that Arizona is 4-1 over his last 5 starts. This relatively young guy has been throwing the ball well recently, so plenty of credit to give to him there. We've seen the Diamondbacks bullpen get steadily a little bit better. They're sitting at a 4.12 bullpen ERA, so not an amazing number by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe good enough to get the job done here when you are pitching for one of the best offenses in baseball, guys. I mean, we've seen the Diamondbacks look absolutely insane at the plate this year. They've scored 10, 3, and 9 runs, respectively, over their last few games. They're the top team in the majors in terms of runs scored. They're the 4th best batting average team in the majors, batting .260 as a team. Their on-base percentage is .333. That is 2nd best in the majors, and they are a top 5 slugging percentage team as well. Like, this is an absolutely loaded offensive roster, guys. They can pile up some runs. So yeah, feeling very, very good about the Diamondbacks at the plate in this game, going up against the Red Sox, who come into this one fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 against the Houston Astros. They're going to be hitting the ball in this game to Brian Bello, who's 11-5 on the season with a 4.80 ERA. His last start was at the Orioles, and he was lights out, guys. Honestly, his last 2 starts have been fantastic, giving up a total of 2 earned runs over a total of 12 innings of work. We also see that Boston, somehow they just like turn it on when Bello's on the mound, guys. They are 5-0 over his last 5 starts, so that's all extremely encouraging stuff. We'll see how he looks here against the hard-hitting Arizona Diamondbacks, though. I've got my questions about Bello in this game, generally speaking, and yeah, I mean, he's been lights out over his last couple games, don't get me wrong, but before that, definitely some problems against Kansas City, Seattle, and the Yankees, so we'll see what he can do. The Diamondbacks are absolutely no joke at the plate. We'll also see what we get from that Red Sox bullpen, guys. They have not been amazing here down the stretch. They're actually 25th in the majors now with a 4.39 bullpen ERA. Not what they had in mind this season. This was supposed to be a better pitching staff than that. They've dealt with a plethora of injuries, though, so they've got some excuses, but man, not looking super hot as a pitching staff at the moment. The offense is getting the job done. I'm not going to say they're swinging the hottest bats. I mean, they've scored a 4, 6, 4, 2, and 5 runs respectively over their last few games. This is a very good offense. I mean, they're 5th in the majors runs scored, 2nd in batting average, batting .261 as a team. They're the 2nd best slugging percentage team in the majors, and they're getting on base at a .328 clip. Like, this is an offense that can absolutely get it done. So expecting some runs out of them pretty much regardless of who they're going up against. And looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Diamondbacks at +110, the Red Sox at -130. We've got an over-under of 9.5 in this game. Arizona, a solid road team, 35-30 on the road. Boston actually 3 games below 500 when playing at Fenway, so that's a little bit depressing for their home fans. In terms of the side in this game, guys, I think the Diamondbacks at +110 is some significant value. I think they've got a good chance to win this game, and getting a little bit of a plus number on them there feels pretty nice. I also think there's some value on the over in this game. We've got an over-under of 9.5, so it's a higher number, but Arizona 33, 28, and 4 to the over on the road. Boston 29, 27, and 5 to the over at home. 2 very, very good offenses out there. Not really any lights-out pitching to be had from these 2 teams. I think we're going to see plenty of runs scored in that game. So generally speaking, I like both these spots. I do like Arizona +110 to win the game, and I like over 9.5. Are either of those going in the pinned comment? We'll have to wait and see. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Chicago Cubs going on the road to take on the Miami Marlins. The Cubs come into this game fresh off of a 10-2 win there against Detroit. They won 2 out of 3 in that series, but at only 63-65 on the year. They're 10.5 games back of Milwaukee in the NL Central. This team has a lot of work to do here down the stretch. They're hitting the ball to Kyle Hendricks, who is 3-10 on the season with a 6.35 ERA. His last start back on the 16th against Toronto was a pretty good one. 5 innings, 5 hits, only a single earned run allowed in a game. We saw the Cubs eventually win 6-5 in extra innings, so good stuff there. I would say all 3 of his last 3 starts were pretty solid. I mean, the Cubs went 2-1 over those starts. Definitely a nice bounce back after getting shelled at the Kansas City Royals. He's been dealing with back issues all season long, guys. Whether or not Hendricks is going to have a good night, highly, it's going to be, if he's having a good back night, fine. If his back hurts, it's going to be bad out there. So kind of hard to gauge where this guy's going to be at on a nightly basis. Not crazy hard to gauge where that Cubs bullpen's going to be, though, guys. They've been pretty good, sitting with a 3.63 bullpen ERA, so no major problems there. And the offense obviously just went off for 10 runs. They scored 10, 2, and 3 runs in that series against Detroit, so not exactly amazing numbers. And they haven't been a great offensive team this season, clearly in the bottom third in the majors. 21st in runs scored, 24th in batting average, batting .233 as a team. They are 18th in the majors in on-base percentage. Just not an offense that really gets me going. So we'll see what they can do here against the Marlins, who come into this one 46-81 on the season. Obviously not having a great time, just getting swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're hitting the ball in this one to Max Meyer, who is 3-3 on the season with a 5.58 ERA. His last 4 starts have all been pretty questionable, guys. At the Mets, not having a good time, giving up 4 earned runs on 7 hits. I guess isn't a terrible result against the Padres, but getting shelled by the Reds isn't a great look, and having a hard time at Atlanta right now isn't the best look either. He's 25 years old, not expecting miracles from him. Miami is just kind of trying to get through this season. Their bullpen's actually a bit better than you would expect, hovering around a league average with a 4.02 ERA coming out of the pen, so that's not the worst. But yeah, I mean, an offense that we, a pitching staff that we're not super high on, and an offense that hasn't been having the best time. I mean, they did just score 8 runs in the last game, albeit in a loss. They've scored 8, 1, 6, 3, and 0 runs, respectively, over their last few. They are 29th in the majors in runs scored, 29th in the majors on base percentage. Like, this is not a great offense, guys. Not a great team in general. So, looking at the numbers for this one, we've got the Cubs at minus 120, the Marlins at plus 105. We've got an over-under of 8.5 out there. The Cubs are 27-36 on the road, so pretty bad road team. Miami is 24-42 at home, so a pretty bad home team. We've got some mixed trends here towards the over-under. I mean, the Cubs are 32-27-4 to the under on the road, whereas the Marlins are the best over team at home in Major League Baseball. They are 46-18-2 to the over when playing at home. So in this game, guys, looking for some value here. I think you could maybe side with the Cubs at minus 120. They're playing all right coming into this series, and I don't think they're a good enough team to really be looking at the Marlins as, like a team they're not going to have to try against. So maybe taking the Cubs minus 120 can make some sense. I also think you could take the over 8.5, as I expect both pitchers to give up some runs, but yeah, generally speaking, this is not one of my favorite games on the day. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Texas Rangers going on the road to take on the Cleveland Guardians. The Rangers come into this game fresh off of a 1-0 win there over the Pirates. They've won 3 out of their last 4 overall, so that's got to feel pretty nice. But at 59-69 on the year, they have a ton of work still to do. They're going to be hitting the ball to Nathan Eovaldi in this one, who's 8-7 on the year with a 3.76 ERA. He's coming off of a 7-inning start against the Twins, where he gave up 3 earned runs on 6 hits, but 4 runs overall in a game we eventually saw the Rangers lose 5-2. So got to be a little bit tough to be a Rangers pitcher, knowing you are unlikely to get a lot of run support. It's been a bit tough out there. We'll see what he gets in this one, but Eovaldi doing what he can out there. Not expecting a ton of miracles from him recently. I mean, he hasn't been amazing this season. He hasn't faced Cleveland, so nothing to be gleaned from that. But in terms of their bullpen, that's been a huge problem for the Rangers as well. A 4.44 bullpen ERA has them 4th worst in Major League Baseball, so another issue for them there. And the offense hasn't exactly been killing it, guys, scoring 1, 0, and 4 runs respectively over their last few games. We've seen some good stuff from Seager, so I guess that's nice, but 19th in the majors in runs scored, 23rd in the majors in slugging percentage. Like, they're only batting .238 as a team, getting on base at a .306 clip. Like, this just is not an offense that I'm very excited about. So we'll see what they can do going up against the Guardians, who come into this game not having the best time themselves. They've actually lost 5 out of their last 6 games. They're only 2 games up on Minnesota and Kansas City there in the AL Central. They're hitting the ball to Tanner Bybee in this game, who's been great this year, 10-5 this season with a 3.33 ERA. His last start was a good one against the Milwaukee Brewers. It was at the Brewers, guys. 5 innings, 3 hits, only 1 earned run allowed. He did give up a home run in that game, but he struck out 7. Definitely gave his team a chance to win. Unfortunately, they could not figure it out, scoring only 1 run. But we also noticed that Cleveland is 4-1 over his last 5 starts. So very, very good stuff there. Expecting good stuff from Bybee in this matchup. He faced the Rangers back in May and dominated them over 5 1/3 innings. So I think we're going to see Bybee look pretty freaking good out there. So looking at the Cleveland bullpen, obviously not a lot to worry about there, guys. The best bullpen in Major League Baseball by almost a full run of earned run average. A 2.68 ERA coming out of the pen is lights out stuff, and it really just comes down to where is the offense going to come from this team, guys. They've been so good as a pitching staff this season, despite some injuries and stuff like that, but yeah, they're not good at the plate, guys. 20th in the majors in batting average, 17th in on base percentage. They're only 13th in the majors in runs scored. They lean very heavily on guys like Kwan and Jose Ramirez to get stuff done for them at the plate, and when that's not happening, things can get very, very bleak for them up there. So yeah, guys, looking at the numbers for this game, I mean, we got the Rangers at plus 120, the Guardians at minus 134. We've got an over-under of 7.5 in this one. The Rangers are 25-38 on the road, so a bad road team. Cleveland is an excellent home team, 38-20 at home. So, guys, I kind of do expect Cleveland to get the win in this one. Taking them minus 134, maybe not my favorite price tag that I've ever seen, but even if, Eovaldi goes out there and is very good over like 5 innings or something, you've still got 4 innings of going against that Rangers terrible bullpen. Cleveland, I think, will find a way to get the job done and win this game. In terms of the over-under, we've got both teams actually showing trends towards the over, which is a little bit surprising to me. I mean, Texas is significant 35-25-3 to the over on the road. Cleveland 33-21-4 to the over at home. We've got an over-under of only 7.5 in this game, so you could definitely talk me into the over, but I think the value in this one is on Cleveland, minus 134. Those bats have to figure it out at some point. Rolling along here, guys, we're looking at the Washington Nationals going on the road to take on the Atlanta Braves. We see the Nationals come into this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 against the Colorado Rockies. They've actually won 3 out of their last 4 games, but at 58 and 70 on the year, I don't think they're actually headed anywhere important. They're giving the ball in this one to Mackenzie Gore, who's 7 and 11 on the year with a 4.66 ERA. His last start was not a great one at the Phillies, guys. 5 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs surrendered. So not great. He's given up at least 5 runs in, the last 3 starts in a row, and 4 out of his last 5 outings. So not somebody that's throwing the ball particularly well. Yeah, not very excited about Mackenzie Gore right now, and not that excited about that Washington bullpen, guys. They had their moments early in the season, but right now sitting with a 4.10 bullpen ERA is not great stuff. The bats looked better against Colorado, guys. They scored 8, 6, and 1 run respectively, so that's a nice change from the norm. This hasn't been a great offensive team, a bit below average. I mean, a terrible slugging percentage team, but not the worst in terms of runs scored. They're 14th in the majors in batting average, 15th in the majors in on-base percentage. They just don't have a lot of great power hitters up there. I mean, we see Luis Garcia Jr. doing some positive stuff. CJ Abrams has had a decent season, but yeah, just not a team that I'm very excited about at the plate. And they're going to have a tough matchup in this one going up against the Braves, who have won 4 out of their last 5 to get to 68 and 59 on the season. They're handing the ball in this game to Chris Sale, who is 14 and 3 on the year with a 2.62 ERA. His last start was at the Angels, and he was very good. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. He struck out 10 in that game. He's had double-digit strikeouts in each of his last 3 appearances. Very, very good stuff from Sale, and I mean, are we really shocked to see Sale looking great out there? I, for one, am not. His last start against Washington was very good as well. At Washington, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 10 strikeouts. That was back on June 7th. So expecting good stuff from Sale in this game, absolutely no doubt about it. We can also pretty solidly always expect good stuff from this Atlanta Braves bullpen. Second best in the majors with a 3.29 ERA coming out of the pen, and yeah, guys, I mean, the offense is where the questions start to pop up. They've scored 3, 2, 3, 3, and 11 runs, respectively, over their last few. They really need Ozuna to do big stuff for this offense to have success. They're 16th in the majors in runs scored, 12th in the majors in slugging percentage, but 20th in the majors in on-base percentage, guys, and 17th hitting a 241 clip. Like, that's just not a great team batting average. So definitely some concerns for me about this offense. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see that the odds makers have some concerns as well. We've got the Nationals at plus 205, the Braves at minus 245. We've got an over-under of only 7.5 in this game. Washington is 28 and 37 on the road. Atlanta is 33 and 27 at home. We've got mixed trends towards the over-under, with Atlanta being a big under team at home. Are we interested in under 7.5 though? Not really. Are we interested in Atlanta minus 245 or Washington plus 205? None of this is really getting me going, guys. I mean, if you wanted to take the Braves minus 1.5 under the impression that Sale's just going to absolutely dominate and Mackenzie Gore is not going to do very much, I guess you could take them minus 1.5 at that minus 125, but really none of this gets me too excited. I think my biggest lean in this game is that minus 1.5, but this is not going anywhere near the pinned comment. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Detroit Tigers going on the road to take on the Chicago White Sox. The Tigers come into this game fresh off of a 10-2 loss there at the Cubs. They lost 2 out of 3 in that series to fall to 62 and 66 on the season. They're hitting the ball in this game to Keter Montero, who's 4 and 5 in the year with a 5.28 ERA. His last start was a very, very good one, though, guys. Against the Yankees of all teams, he went 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, and 0 earned runs. In a game we eventually saw the Tigers shut out the Yankees and win 4-0. So, yeah, pretty solid stuff there. Over his last 3 starts, he's been decent. I mean, I'm not going to say a 5-inning, 5-hit, 4 earned run appearance against the Giants is amazing, but yeah, I guess he's been throwing the ball slightly better as of late. He's only 24 years old. We're going to expect some ups and downs from him. In terms of the bullpen, how have the Tigers been? I mean, not terrible over the course of the season. Right now, they're sitting with a 4.04 ERA coming out of the pen. That's somewhere around MLB average, so, you know, not too amazing, but not too terrible, and, you know, they've shown okay stuff as of late, so give them some credit there. The problem for this team often is their offense, and scoring 2, 8, and 1 run, respectively, in their series against Chicago. Not really the best stuff. I mean, having Riley Green back out there has definitely been helpful, but, yeah, this team is 21st in the majors in runs scored, 25th, batting .232 as a team. They're 28th in the majors on-base percentage, getting on base at a .294 clip. Like, that is not going to get the job done, guys. But they are going up against the Chicago White Sox in this one, so always a good spot for any opposing team. The White Sox actually come into this game fresh off of a rare win. They won 6-2 in their last game of their 3-game series at San Francisco, but at 31 and 97 on the year, not having a great time. They're giving the ball in this game to Chris Flexen, who is 2 and 12 on the season with a 5.46 ERA. He's coming off of a not great start at Houston. 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs allowed. Let down after a good start against the Cubs, but I mean, yeah, just not a lot of great stuff for me to say about this guy or this pitching staff in general. I mean, yeah, just pretty rough stuff coming out of the White Sox all season long. Their bullpen is pretty terrible as well. 3rd worst bullpen in Major League Baseball, and the offense is clearly the worst offense in the MLB. I mean, dead last in runs scored, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage. So not going to waste a ton of time talking about this offense, guys. It's absolutely terrible. Looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Tigers at -160, the White Sox at +140. We've got an over-under of 8.5. Detroit is 31-34 on the road. The White Sox are 18-44 at home. That's an MLB worst mark at home. Both teams, well, I mean, we got some mixed trends here. Detroit is an over team on the road, and the White Sox are an under team at home. Generally speaking, in this game, guys, I think you just close your eyes and go ahead and take the Tigers -160. I don't know if I'm interested in taking them -1.5 in this game, but getting a team at only -160 playing against Chicago White Sox doesn't sound like a terrible spot to me. Next on the docket here, guys, we're looking at the Philadelphia Phillies going on the road to take on the Kansas City Royals. The Phillies coming into this game not having the best time, guys. They've lost 3 out of their last 4 overall to fall to 74-53 on the year. They've still got a 6-game cushion there in the AL East, or NL East, I mean, so I don't think they're too worried. They're hitting the ball in this one to Taijuan Walker, who's 3-4 in the season with a 5.69 ERA. He's going to be making his 3rd start back since coming off of the IL, and the first 2 haven't went great, guys. We actually see the Phillies are 0-5 over his last 5 starts, so that's not a great look, and his last 2 starts against Miami and against Washington combining to give up 3 earned runs in each one of those starts, and yeah, the Phillies losing both of those games, not exactly a great look here going up against a solid Royals opponent. So we'll see what Walker can do out there. We'll also see what we get from this very problematic Phillies bullpen that's sitting with a 4.12 bullpen ERA. Way down in the bottom half, bottom third even of the majors. So not a great bullpen look for the Phillies at the moment, and the offense hasn't been there either, guys. They've just been having a really rough time. This were 2, 3, 1, 4, and 5 runs respectively over their last several games. They're 9th in the majors in runs scored, 6th in the majors in batting average. Like a very good season-long numbers, but those are all trending down right now. Like just not swinging the hottest bats at the moment. So we'll see what we get out of them in this game here, going up against the Royals, who come into this one. They've been playing pretty well, guys. They've actually won 6 out of their last 7 to get to 71-56 on the year. 2 games back of Cleveland in the AL Central, really putting on the pressure. They're hitting the ball to Michael Wacha, who is 10-6 this season with a 3.33 ERA. He's coming off of an excellent start there at Cincinnati, where he went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and 0 earned runs while striking out 9. Very good stuff in that one. We see the Royals are 4-0 over his last 4 appearances, so that's got to feel pretty good. He's been going deeper into games as well, so just all things really pointed in a good direction for Wacha right now. He's been throwing the ball great. We are worried about the Royals bullpen, though, guys. It's been even worse than the Phillies, sitting with a 4.29 bullpen ERA. Not, I think, exactly where this franchise or this team thought their bullpen would be at this point. So that's a problem for sure, but the offense has been humming along, guys. 3, 5, 5, 8, and 13 runs over their last few games. Bobby Witt Jr., an absolute monster, batting over 350 with 25 home runs. That has to feel pretty freaking great. The Royals are 7th in the majors in runs scored, 5th in the majors, batting .257 as a team. They're a top 10 slugging percentage team as well. Like, there's plenty of good reason, for optimism here as a Royals fan, especially in terms of your offense. So, looking at the numbers for this game, we got the Phillies at +110, the Royals at -130. We've got an over/under of 9.5 in this game. That seems like a big number. The Phillies are 31-29 on the road, so not a great road team. The Royals are 40-26 at home, a very good team at home. We don't see a lot of trends to look at here for the over/under. In terms of this over/under of 9.5, though, guys, I'm definitely leaning towards the under. I don't think we're going to see a crazy amount of offense despite both of these, both these bullpens being pretty bad. I think we're going to see good stuff from Wacha as a starter, but really, guys, my main lean in this game is going to be the Royals -130. I think they're going to win this game the vast majority of the time. The Phillies are not swinging the bats very well. They're going up against a tough starter, and we really don't like the Phillies pitching situation for this game with a mediocre bullpen and a very mediocre starter out there. Next up, guys, we're looking at the St. Louis Cardinals going on the road to take on the Minnesota Twins. The Cardinals come into this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 against the Milwaukee Brewers, so they needed that to kind of keep their hopes for the season alive, but at 63-64 in the year, they've got a lot of work still to do. They're hitting the ball to Andre Pallante, who is 5-6 this year with a 4.07 ERA. The young guy's had some big ups and big downs this season, but his last 2 starts have been excellent. A great start at the Royals, 5 2/3 innings, giving up only a single earned run in that one, and going up against the Dodgers, 7 innings, 4 4 hits, 2 earned runs. He has been looking absolutely lights out as of recently. So the Cardinals will definitely take that. That's, great stuff to see in a season for them that hasn't really, hasn't shown a lot of great things on the horizon. So we'll see what we get from Palante. We'll also see what we get from that Cardinals bullpen that's been a maybe a little bit problematic here down the stretch, but they're sitting somewhere around 8th or 9th in the majors right now with a 3.67 bullpen ERA, and obviously they had a very good time against the Brewers over their last couple games, so they'll definitely take that. Some positives there for sure. In terms of their offense, that's been a problem for the Cardinals all season long. They did score 10 runs in one of their games against Milwaukee, but 4 of those runs came via a grand slam in the 10th inning there. So not exactly swinging insanely hot bats, not something they've done really at all this season. But team batting average is up to 13th in the majors. They are up to 16th in the majors in on-base percentage, but they're 23rd in the majors in runs scored, and just not a team that I'm super afraid of at the plate. So we'll see what they can do against the Twins, who come into this game not having the best time, losing 3 out of their last 4. They did manage to get a win in Game 3 there at the Padres. They're hitting the ball to David Festa in this game, who's 2-2 on the season with a 4.96 ERA. He's coming off of, I would say, 5 straight very good starts, though, guys. I mean, a good start at Texas his last time out. 5 innings, 6 hits, only 2 earned runs allowed, and striking out 6 while walking 0. Will definitely work. Obviously, he wasn't going against the toughest hitting team, but he's not going against the toughest hitting team in this one either. So we'll see what we get out of the 24-year-old in this game. I'm not expecting him to necessarily, be lights out, but I'm expecting him to put up a decent start. What do we think we're going to see from the Twins bullpen? Well, they're middle of the road with a 3.97 bullpen ERA, but not a terrible bullpen out there. They've got some live arms, and I think we can see them, hold on to most of the leads that they're handed. So that's something of a positive. The Twins offense, obviously, maybe not swinging their hottest bats right now, but they've scored 11, 6, 5, 5, and 4 runs over their last several games. They're 6th in the majors in runs scored. They are a top 10 batting average team, a top 10 on-base percentage team. They are 6th in the majors in slugging percentage. This is a team with some dudes that can absolutely hit the cover off the ball, so we'll see what they can do. They're only 2 games back in the AL Central, so this is a team that definitely has to be in, push mode right now. They can definitely make up some ground here on Cleveland and put themselves in a position to compete there for the AL Central crown. So that could be a big deal for them. And looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Cardinals at plus 124, the Twins at minus 136. We've got an over-under of 8.5 in this game. The Cardinals are 29-34 on the road. Not a great road team. Minnesota is a very good home team, though. 36-24 at home. Very solid stuff there. In terms of the over-under, we've got mixed trends here. Over-under of 8.5 with 2 very young pitchers on the mound. I would maybe tend to look a little bit towards the over, but I'm not too interested in that one, guys. And to be honest, I'm having a little bit of trouble finding value in this game. We see Palante throwing the ball so well coming into this one. It makes me almost want to back the Cardinals. Maybe they're having something of a turnaround here, but the Twins at minus 136 is a decent price as well. So I think my official lean, and it is a tiny one in this game, guys, is going to be on the Cardinals plus 124, but generally speaking, this isn't a spot that I'm very interested in. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers going on the road to take on the Oakland A's. The Brewers have to be probably the most hated team on this channel right now after letting us down 2 days in a row. And here we got to look at them again, guys. They're 73-54 on the year. They're 10 games up on the Cardinals in the NL Central. They're going to be hitting the ball in this game to Aaron Savale, hoping he can help them snap that 2-game losing streak. Savale, though, is only 4-8 on the season with a 4.78 ERA. He is coming off of a very good start at Cleveland, guys. One of his better starts of the season. 6 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs allowed. In a game we saw Milwaukee eventually win 5-3. So that's nice, but man, how do we feel about him going up against the Oakland A's in this game? Kind of tough to know. Savale has been all over the place this season. Maybe he's in for a good outing, though, here. We'll just have to wait and see. In terms of their bullpen, Milwaukee's been pretty good this season, but maybe not so hot lately. A 3.38 bullpen ERA, and nothing to turn your nose up at, though. The offense is absolutely floundering, though, guys. Losing Yelich has them in the doldrums. They've scored 0, 6, 3, 2, and 2 runs, respectively, over their last few games. They are 11th in the majors in runs scored, 8th in the majors in batting average, 3rd in the majors in on-base percentage, but those are all numbers that I think are trending in a negative direction. And I just don't see this team getting much better at the plate right now, so we'll see what they can do out there against the A's, who come into this one winners of 2 out of their last 4. They are 55-73 on the season, so not heading anywhere particularly fast. They're giving the ball to J.P. Sears in this game, who's 10-8 on the season with a 4.15 ERA. His last start was a great one, 7 2/3 innings against the Giants. He gave up 7 hits, but only a single earned run while striking out 9 and walking 0. So very, very good stuff stuff there. Honestly, all 4 of his last 4 outings have been very, very good, and putting his team in a position to win despite Oakland not really having the best team in the world this season. So expecting good stuff from Sears in this game. Also expecting pretty decent stuff from that A's bullpen, guys. They're currently 4th in the majors with a 3.54 bullpen ERA. This bullpen's been very, very good. Way better than I would have anticipated. Not like I was doing deep dives on the A's bullpen, but still things looking good for them out there, no doubt about it. In terms of their offensive production, not looking so hot, guys. 3, 2, 0, 3, and 2 runs respectively over their last several games. They're 25th in the majors in runs scored, 28th in batting average, 24th in on-base percentage. Like, just not a very good offensive team. So looking at the numbers for this one, we've got the Brewers at -122, the A's at +115. We've got an over-under of 7.5 in this game. Milwaukee 35-30 on the road, Oakland 31-33 at home. We got mixed trends towards the over/under in this game without any like huge trends to look at here. Generally speaking, in this spot, I'm not putting this in the pinned comment, but I think there's a decent chance the Brewers win this game, but I also like under 7.5 a little bit. Next up, guys, we're looking at the New York Mets going on the road to take on the San Diego Padres. The Mets and Padres are currently playing right now with the Mets up 3-1 there in the top of the 7th inning. We've got the over in that game, so hopefully they can put up a few more runs. The Mets come into this one, maybe not playing their best ball, but not looking terrible out there. 66-61 on the year, handing the ball to Paul Blackburn, who's 5-3 this season with a 4.19 ERA. His last start was a very good one, albeit against the Marlins. 6 innings, 4 hits, only a single earned run, so decent stuff there. Ever since getting traded over from Oakland to the New York Mets, I would say he's looked good in 4 out of his 5 outings, with the bad one, not too shockingly, being against his old team, the Oakland A's. So we'll give him some credit there. He's been, generally speaking, putting the Mets in position to win games, so we'll see what we get from him in this game. We'll also see what we get from that Mets bullpen that's had its issues this season. They've done some positive things here down the stretch to get around MLB average with a 4.03 ERA. In terms of this offense, guys, it's been a little bit rough to figure out. They've scored 3 runs in their current game, 4 in the game before that. Didn't have an amazing offensive series against Baltimore or against Miami, so that's their last 2 series there. So not swinging the hottest bats coming into this one. So a little bit worrisome there going up against the Padres, who obviously looking to find some offense here in game 1 of their series right now. They're handing the ball in this one to Joe Musgrove, who is 3-4 on the year with a 4.97 ERA. He's had, I would say, what is that? Got to be at least 3 good starts in a row. Maybe you could say even more than that. But yeah, I mean, obviously this is a guy that has only had 2 starts since coming back off the IL. They've both been decent, albeit very, very short outings, which unfortunately for the Padres put some pressure on that bullpen, which has not been amazing over the course of the year, but is rounding into form now. Thank goodness for Padres fans, guys. They're sitting in the top half of the majors now with a 3.87 ERA coming out of the pen. So definitely some positives to be found for a bullpen that you could maybe have called them beleaguered at some points this year. The offense has been a little bit questionable. I mean, they're sitting right now with only a single run in their current game, which would leave them at 1, 4, 7, 5, and 2 runs respectively over their last few. Over the course of the year, this has been an excellent offensive team, though, guys. 1st in the majors in batting average, 8th in runs scored, 7th in on-base percentage, getting on base at a 325 clip. Like, this is not a terrible offense. So looking at the numbers for this one, we see the Mets at +110, the Padres at -126. We've got over-under showing out there of 8 or 7.5. Guys, I think this is another good spot to play an over for this series. Over 7.5 seems extremely live to me, with both teams showing significant trends towards the over in this spot. I mean, the Mets 30-24-4 to the over on the road, the Padres 39-24-1 to the over at home. So definitely like over 7.5 in this game. In terms of a side, I do think I lean slightly towards the Padres at home in this spot, where they are 34-29 on the season, but generally speaking, I think the over 7.5 is the better play. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the San Francisco Giants going on the road to take on the Seattle Mariners. The Giants come into this game fresh off of a 2-1 series win there over the White Sox. At 65-64 on the year, though, they've got a lot of work still to do. They're handing the ball to young Hayden Birdsong, who's 3-3 on the year with a 5.01 ERA. His last start was against the Oakland A's. It was a short start, but a pretty good one. 4 2/3 innings, 3 hits, only a single earned run. Unfortunately for him, that's a game we saw the Giants lose 2-0. So that's a bit rough. What do we expect to see from this guy? It could be pretty high variance here when you're backing 22-year-old starting pitchers. The Giants bullpen has also not been amazing, guys. They are in the bottom 8-10 there in the majors with a bullpen ERA of 4.17. So that's not what you're looking for. And the offense hasn't exactly been killing it, guys. 2, 4, 5, 4, and 0 runs respectively over their last few games. This has been a very average offense over the course of the season. So not really expecting any miracles from them here going up against the Mariners, who come into this one absolutely skidding, guys. They just fired their manager, so maybe we'll see a little bit of a, dead cat bounce or something like that, I think is the term. But I think we'll see the team maybe have a little bit of positives here after, a little bit of change at management. But that's not the problem, guys. The problem is this team has no offense. They're handing the ball to Luis Castillo, who's 10-12 this season with a 3.51 ERA. He's coming off a bad start there at the Pirates, giving up 4 earned runs over 5 1/3 in a game the Mariners lost 7-2. But generally speaking, this season he's been very good. I think we can expect him to have a pretty good outing in this one. In terms of their bullpen, been pretty much average bullpen lately, so we'll see what we get. Over the course of the season, they've been decent, but lately not so much. And the offense, guys, is just not good. 4, 3, 0, 10, 2, and 3 runs, respectively, over their last several games. There's no way to really slice it, guys. It's not a great offensive team. They're dead last in the majors in batting average, almost dead last in slugging percentage. This is a team that's going to struggle to score runs against pretty much anyone. So looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Giants at plus 135, the Mariners at minus 152, over-under showing out there of 7.5 or 7. The Giants, not a great road team. Seattle, a very good home team, but not so much lately. And we also see mixed trends towards the over-under for this game. Generally speaking, guys, I'm leaning slightly towards the Mariners here at minus 152 with the whole manager change going on. I think that might help them a bit, and I'm not too high on Birdsong, but I doubt this game makes it into the pinned comment. Last but not least, guys, we're looking at the Tampa Bay Rays going on the road to take on the LA Dodgers. The Rays come into this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 4 there against the Oakland A's, so not the best result. They're 64-63 on the year, handing the ball to Tyler Alexander, who comes into this game sporting a 5.17 ERA and a pretty solid mustache. His last outing was not a start, so this is looking like a bullpen start, generally speaking. He's been a bullpen guy this season, but he's been long relief. I mean, 5 2/3 innings is a pretty long relief appearance. 5 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs against the Diamondbacks is pretty solid work. We've actually seen Tampa Bay win in 4 out of his last 5 appearances, for what that's worth, but generally speaking, I think we like what we see from Alexander. How do we feel about what we're seeing from this, this Rays bullpen? They've been a lot better recently than they were at the beginning of the season. They're in the top half of the majors with a 3.74 bullpen ERA. Give them some credit there. The offense is the problem, guys. They are 28th in the majors in runs scored and 28th in the majors in slugging percentage. They've scored 1, 4, 1, 0, and 8 runs over their last few games. So not expecting miracles from this team at the plate, going up against the Dodgers, who come into this game 76-52 on the year. They just swept the Mariners. They've actually won 4 in a row and 5 of their last 6 overall. They're handing the ball in this one to Bobby Miller, who's 1-3 this season with an 8.02 ERA. He got shelled his last time out by the Cardinals. 4 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs. He's given up 2 home runs and at least 1 home run in each of his last 5 starts. So pretty weak stuff from this young guy. Not expecting miracles from Miller out there, and that could put a lot of pressure on this Dodgers bullpen that hasn't been amazing lately. They've been fine. I mean, a 3.59 bullpen ERA over the season is great, but right now, maybe not super stoked with how this bullpen looks. The offense is cruising, though, guys. 8, 6, 3, and 2 runs, respectively, over their last few. We've seen Ohtani looking very solid. We've seen Mookie Betts come back, and he's doing his thing out there. This is a great offense. 4th in the majors run scored, top 4 in on-base percentage and slugging percentage as well. This is a crazy good offense. So looking at the numbers of this game, it's not a big surprise to the Dodgers as favorites. We've got the Rays at plus 158, the Dodgers at minus 188. We've got an over-under of 8.5. Yeah, guys, I mean, Tampa Bay, not a great road team. The Dodgers, 41-21 at home. That's an MLB best mark at home. Tampa Bay is an under team on the road. The Dodgers are a 50-50 over-under team at home. We're just not super high on any particular play for this game. I would honestly lean maybe towards the Rays plus 158 here. They've got a decent starter on the mound, and they're getting a good price, and they're going up against a terrible starter for the Dodgers, but generally speaking, this is not a game I'm very interested in. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.